Not all wars are fought with guns. Some are fought in silence. In the markets, the classrooms, the bus queues, and the corners of homes where parents whisper to each other, "How do we survive this week?" Every 4 years, we line up under the sun, our thumbs stained with ink, hoping this time will be different. Promises of stronger naira, cheaper fuel, better jobs. But somehow, the story never changes. They say taxes build a nation. But how do you tax a man who can't afford a meal? How do you collect revenue from an empty stomach? The ordinary Nigerian is now paying for decisions he never made, while those who made them keep approving loans that vanish like smoke. Every headline feels like a new wound. Loan approved, new tax introduced, subsidy removed. Meanwhile, families are cutting meals from 3 to 1, and even 1 is a miracle. This is not politics. This is survival. A silent war fought by people who refuse to break, by the Okada rider counting change under a flickering streetlight, by the teacher whose salary can't buy groceries, by the mother praying her child's school won't close again because fuel prices doubled overnight. They call it reform. We call it reality. Elections were meant to be our voice, our power to choose. But when elections begin to feel like routines with scripted endings, when results no longer reflect the cries of the people, what happens to democracy? The system feels rigged not just at the polls, but in the everyday choices stolen from citizens. The right to live decently, to dream freely, to grow without begging. Once upon a time, Nigeria stood shoulder to shoulder with nations like Singapore, Malaysia, and South Korea. They had nothing, no gold mines, no oil fields. But they had a plan. They invested in their people, built institutions that worked, and leaders who feared accountability. Today, those countries build the gadgets we buy, the cars we can't afford, and the systems we admire from afar. Meanwhile, the giant of Africa crawls, not from lack of power, but from lack of truth. The biggest weapon of oppression is not the gun, it's hunger. Hunger keeps people silent. Hunger turns revolution into resignation. And that's the real war we're fighting, one against despair. But even in this darkness, there are lights. The journalist who still writes the truth, though he knows the risk. The youth organizing peaceful protests without funding or fame. The woman who feeds a neighbor's child before feeding her own. These are the new freedom fighters, unarmed, unheard, but unshaken. They remind us that freedom isn't won in a day. It's defended every time someone refuses to be silent. We don't need violence to demand better. We need voices. Voices that echo from the slums of Lagos to the farmlands of Benue, from the creeks of the Niger Delta to the classrooms of Kano. Because the real power has always been the people, not the palace. So, when they tell you to be patient while they borrow again, ask, patient for what? When they raise the tax and call it progress, ask, progress for who? And when they call silence peace, remind them that silence is not peace, it's pressure. Nigeria is not poor, it's poorly managed. The war we fight now isn't with guns or blood, but with truth, courage, and unity. Not all wars are fought with guns. Some are fought with honesty, some are fought with hope, and some, like ours, are fought with the strength to keep believing in a country that has forgotten how to believe in itself. This is for the unheard, the unseen, and the unbroken. For every Nigerian who still wakes up and says, maybe tomorrow will be better. I'm Elias Rook, and this is the silent struggle of a nation